Good evening, good evening. So this is gonna be a kind of a freelance, uh, I don't know what you'd call it, public service announcement or something like that. I don't know. First off, no, I am not gonna record this video showing my face. I don't get down like that, especially on the first channel video. Now, I wasn't gonna make this, but it's one of those things where you it feels like when you feel like you should say something but you don't, kind of like when you're walking down a street and you see someone getting picked on, or they're in a fight against someone who's bigger, or it's an attack, multiple people against one person, and someone doesn't step in, but they could, but they'd rather pull out their phone and record it or live stream it, see how many people can view it, comment on it, how many likes, because it's all about likes, right? So I felt comfortable, let's say, um, making this short message. First off, I am Caucasian. I'm a Caucasian male, and I'm the father to a beautiful um, mixed race son. He's half Jamaican. And I became a father in September of 2020, late September. And since becoming a father, it was around last March, around my son's 6-month birthday. Started listening to, some YouTube at night. And some of this back and forth was happening between, three NBA players, Steven Jackson, Matt Barnes, and Kwame Brown. And I remember a couple times, at least maybe three or four, um, I had seen references over the years of Kwame Brown, not living up to such and such hype, as a number one draft pick, and how any number one draft pick could not succeed because they played with Michael Jordan. Now, I mean, last I heard, Richard Hamilton didn't become good with the Pistons until a good solid year playing with Michael Jordan, but before Jordan, who was Rip Hamilton, right? Who was Rip Hamilton before Michael Jordan? He goes on to win a championship with Detroit. Anyway, my point. Back to my point. When I started listening to how Mr. Brown, and I'm going to call him Mr. Brown, you know why? Because he deserves respect. He deserves respect. I'm not kissing no celebrity, you know, celebrities ASS, you know, try to seem cool by saying Mr. Brown. No, he deserves respect. Every grown man, no matter what race, no matter what sexual orientation they want to be, every man who lives every day to do their best and to grind and to give all they got to be the best person, the best man, best father that they can be, dang it, they deserve respect. And it really, again, as a new father, when I heard about the start of the Steven Jackson, Matt Barnes, Kwame Brown triangle thing, man, oh man, I tell you, I was proud. I'm like, this is solid. This is a man who was quiet for so long, and I've heard some, let's just say, yeah, athletes don't get the due respect they deserve after all the years of training, conditioning, staying on top of your game, just to, pardon me, just to have a chance to play on all these great teams as a child. I mean, think of all the suicides, all the, 5 hour practices, the two a days, the tournaments, the weekends that you didn't get off to hang out with your friends and do what you wanted to do, have fun, go to the mall. No, man, you trained and you played in tournaments. I know. I used to coach some teams back in the day, and you don't get time off when you have a player who gives it their all. They do not take days off. They train all the time. They're in the weight room. They're on the court doing cone drills, chair drills, um, jump and touch the backboard exercises, um, leg workouts, you know, testing your flexibility, getting limber and limber every day because you need to be agile on the court because you're going to be playing up and down this long rectangular court, playing offense and defense. The same like football and baseball, where the defense and the offense goes out. Like, no, man, basketball, you're going all the time. And it's up and down, different speeds, different frequencies. You have to have that stamina to know that last time I checked, I thought it was like one in every 600 prospects are like you got a room of 600 people. One of them is going to be eligible to just have a chance at being drafted in a 60-person NBA draft. And the number one pick in 1 year was a high school player. Number one. And this player's name was Kwame Brown. And to hear all these years about how he's a bust and he didn't live up to no hype and stuff, like, hey, we all try our best. I mean, the man admits he didn't even make his free throws. He understands, right? I mean, hey, I didn't make my free throws, he says. How many big men have been drafted since then that did not pan out? What about like Emeka Okafor? What about Jaleel Okafor? What about Hashim Thabit? Remember Hashim Thabit, how big he was supposed to be coming out of college? Are we forgetting? Like, there's so many players who just did not live up to the hype, if you will. And I gotta tell you, the way people put hype on a young man who's worked his whole life to be the best player he can be, and then you want to put hype on a professional basketball player when he just made it to the big times. And he only had 13 years to prove that he was not a bust because he didn't start in the NBA right away. If you look at the game logs, it shows you right there he wasn't even put in good, successful lineups in his first 2 years of playing in the league. Go look it up. He didn't get an opportunity to play in good, functioning lineups in in a Michael Jordan ran offense. He just had a coach on the sidelines because he had to. But Michael never really played very well with the center. I mean, he had Luke Longley, he had Bill Cartwright. Michael Jordan never had a big man to rely on that he was like, this guy is very much needed to score points, and I'm going to give him a lot of touches in my Michael Jordan ran offense. Michael never played with a lot of good centers. Anyway, back to my point again. Sorry, I love basketball, so I'm going to throw some basketball wisdom in sometimes. What can I say? Um, but back to Kwame. When Kwame started talking about real life, though, yes, I said I'm not trying to steal it, but it is real life, though. When he's talking about how, you know, he got in a fight with an assistant coach when he was in high school. And his mom's first question when she went down to the school was, what did the other man do? Because Kwame's mom knew that his son wasn't going to do anything unless he was provoked first. Tells you that right there. And I believe it still resonates to this day, Mr. Brown. You don't do nothing unless he's provoked first. I've been following literally for a long time. And again, I don't expect anybody to be taking a white boy's word for it. Because I understand what's happened lately. I tell you, on behalf of all good white guys like me, I'm embarrassed and I'm shocked and I'm sorry. That's a horrible example of a grown man to be doing certain things like that on a platform where everyone should be all inclusive, and then you go ahead and do something like that. That's sick. But I'm not going to indulge in the algorithm, but we all know what I'm talking about. It's sick. And Kwame says, you know, we are all what we could expect our children's image to look like when they end up in society, in public settings, in schools. You know, they're going to be like, they're going to say, like, you're that so and so's boy, right? And they're going to look at you. And they're going to wonder, all right, if I know their parents, you know, the world is judgmental. The world is so judgmental. And nobody can insult your kids worse than when you yourself as a parent don't conduct yourself the way a grown man or a grown woman should conduct themselves and act. You become the biggest insult. I hear some YouTubers saying, this person insulted my son, this person said this about my daughter, my son, whatever, but is your behavior not a more rigorous insult to your child? Because your behavior is their reputation in the future. So, I just want to give a quick props to Kwame and the gang, you know, Carcino and, you know, Self Talk, all you guys. You bring awareness to a community that my son, who's half black, he needs positive reinforcement in his life. The generations are counting on the right now, us men. They're counting on us men to conduct ourselves so they have something positive to look up to. They need us to conduct ourselves in a mature and polite manner. We got to get back to being gentlemen. So that's the end of that. Try not to be too long. I'll make another video, um, maybe tomorrow. And I don't expect this video to reach anybody, but I'll tag some people just to see. We'll see what happens. But anyway, have a good night. God bless you guys, and hey, stay positive always.